Hey guys, another video on this 2000 Ford F-250 Super Duty. Got an issue with the airbag light coming on. It'll flash a couple times and then it'll come on steady once you start the vehicle. So we're gonna see if I can go ahead and fix that. So I'll show you what's going on here. If I go ahead and turn the key, we'll pay attention to the bottom left-hand corner there at the airbag light. You can see it comes on and then it shuts off. But then it'll flash 2 times. And that's followed by 7 different times. So you can see it flashes there for 7 times, and it'll just keep repeating this unless I start the vehicle, and then it'll go off, and then it just comes on solid. So what I'm thinking the issue is this passenger airbag switch. So there's a LED light here that indicates whether this passenger airbag is off, and this light does not come on when I turn the key, so pretty much means that LED light is burned out. So it's telling the computer that there's something wrong with the passenger airbag. So that's why it throws that light there. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and take apart this whole dash here. We'll get that switch out and we'll see if I can solder in a new LED. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and remove this headlight switch here. Now on some of the later models, you can just reach under here with a screwdriver, but on this earlier model, this is a 2000. What you're gonna do is you're going to turn this headlight switch to the headlights on, and then you're going to pull outward, and I'm hoping you guys can see this, but there's a little notch right here. You're going to stick a screwdriver in there. So get your screwdriver in there, and then you're just going to pry and push on that little button there. So you get your screwdriver in there and you press on this little tab right here. That releases this knob, and then you're going to turn this opposite of what it was. So click that on there like that, turn the headlight switch off, and then what you're going to do, push in on it. You're going to turn the headlights back on, but as you're turning it on, you're going to pull out. So go ahead and turn it on, and then turn it again, and just slide this out. And that's how you get this headlight switch out. So you can turn that back off to shut your dinger off there. But if you notice what you're doing here, so when I turn these headlights on, this is going to move in, which is going to release that headlight switch. So see, as I turn that on, it releases that headlight switch. So then we can go ahead and undo your connectors here. So you got 2 connectors. These both have red locking tabs. So go ahead and try and get those free. Looks like these have been on here a while. This one doesn't want to release too well. Let's see if I can undo that one there. Grab my screwdriver here and see if we can. There we go. Push in on there, and then you got your headlight switch out. So what you want to do next is go ahead and remove the stereo. So this does have the factory stereo still installed in it. So you can get these tools right here. You can get these off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for it, or you can bend a coat hanger, whatever you want to do. But what you're going to do is you're going to stick these into these 2 holes here. You're going to squeeze in and then pull out. So stick these 2 in there. Got to kind of bend them a little bit. Stick those in, and then you're going to kind of pry towards the outside, and then as you're doing that, you're lifting the radio out towards you. So you can see that kind of frees it. You can pull this out all the way, and then you're going to have a antenna wire here, this orange one. Go ahead and pull that off, and then you'll have this wiring connector here. There should be a tab at the bottom here. Try and release that. Let's see here. There it is. So you can see the tab right there. Go ahead and push that in and pull outward if you can. Just hard to get in there. There we go. So I just want to show you with these hooks here, what you're doing to that factory radio. You can see these clips on the side right here. So as you pry outward, you can see that releases the clips on both sides here. Next, you'll want to grab a block, just stick behind your rear wheel here. because you don't want the truck rolling. So now we should be able to remove this piece of the dash here. But what you want to do first, go ahead and turn your key, and then you can shift down into first. And that's the reason I blocked that wheel, just in case this does roll. And you can also bring your steering wheel down if need to. And what we're going to do is this kind of snaps on here. So we're going to go ahead and just pull. See if you can pull. Start it over here by your headlight switch and work your way across the dash. And you just want to go gentle on this. This is 24-year-old plastic here. You don't want to break it. So just kind of release it. There we go. And then you can pull out. But as you can see, we are hooked on our airbag indicator there. So let me move my camera for you guys. So if you notice, you're going to have your airbag switch indicator here, your wiring harness. So you just push down on this tab right here. Go ahead and pop that out. And then come over here to the passenger side, and you're going to have one for the cigarette lighter adapter there. Same thing, you're going to have a tab right here. And this one's kind of stuck on here. There we go. So go ahead and unplug that. And then you can go ahead and kind of flip this downward like that. Try to get that to stay. So then you're going to want to undo the four-wheel drive one right here, the wiring harness. So this one's a little bit trickier, but if you can get a flathead screwdriver back in here, get behind this gray tab. As you pry on that tab, go ahead and try and lift the harness out of here. There we go, so like that. And now you should be able to lift this out of here. And then you can go ahead and throw this back in park. Take your key out. So then locate your airbag switch here. You're going to have 3 5.5 millimeter screws holding that in. So go ahead and undo all 3 of those screws. And then you should be able to lift this switch out of here. Move our screws there. So now we'll see if we can go ahead and open up this switch here. You can see the LED light right inside there. So if you got a set of these really small or thin screwdrivers, they work pretty well. But we need to release all these tabs here and then also pry up at the same time. So if you can get back behind there, and you want to go kind of lightly on this, you don't want to break these either. So if you can get back in here. See, it's just kind of hard. So if you get maybe 2 screwdrivers in here. Or shoved in there just enough to pry that up a little bit while pulling outward. So you can see it's kind of released there. See if we can do the same here. There we go. Just kind of pry that end out. And then you'll have the same thing on this side. So there we go. So there's the circuit board there for the LED light. And then I believe this just kind of pops out of here. So what we need to do is just replace that LED there. We'll have to solder on a new one here. And so if you take a look, all this is just a little rubber piece that goes over the light just for it to change to a yellowish color or orange, I believe. So if you can peel this off of the LED bulb here, if possible, you can see it's kind of melted on there, so it may not come off without ripping. So if you can, try and get that off of there. And it looks like it's just melted on there, so that ain't gonna work. So we'll just have to have a clear bulb there, which is totally fine. Yeah, you can see how it just kind of melted on there. So what we need to do now is go ahead and unsolder the old bulb off this circuit board. So you can just get a cheap soldering iron. This one I think is from Amazon. It was like $8. I do have these LED bulbs that I had left over. Also got these off of Amazon. I did a Chevy Silverado, a bunch of instrument panel lights on that, so I had these left over. But I'll put a link in the description for these. I think it was like $7 or $8 for all these bulbs here. And then this is optional. Solder sucker here. If you don't have one of these, it's totally fine. But we're just going to heat that up, and I'm going to suck all that old solder off so we can put some new on there. And then just get yourself some soldering iron as well. So what you're going to do, let's go ahead and heat this up. So I'll go ahead and heat this solder up on the circuit board here, and I'll just suck all that old off of there. So you can see that kind of just suck some of that old solder off of there. Same thing on the other one here. Heat that up. And now let's see, might not be able to get this out just yet. So may have to heat it up just a little more. Just want to get that off enough to get that kind of off of there. So if you need to heat this up and then just kind of push on it. There we go, and it fell out. So you can see there's our old bulb here. So take one of your new ones here. And I believe the polarity shouldn't matter on these bulbs, but we'll find out once we get it plugged in and everything. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of do the same thing, just stick these through the holes how they were. And then you can kind of bend that. So it was kind of bent like that when we did that. So just something like that. And I think I'm going to come in just a little more because these bulbs are a little bit longer. So if I go ahead and stick that in there, maybe like that, to where it's sitting, something like that. Do that. And then what we can do is we'll grab our solder here. Trying to get this to where it's sitting a little better here. So I'm thinking like that. Grab some solder here. And let me zoom in. And then just go ahead and heat up that area there with your soldering iron. And then go ahead and put some solder on that. Same with the other one here. A little more there. So just kind of like that. Let this cool for a second here. And then what you can do is just go ahead and cut off this excess here. So about like that. Take a look at your bulb here. So I think that's going to work just like that. Let's go ahead and try it and make sure. So then we go ahead and just plug this in. Let's just make sure. So it is set on the passenger airbag on. So this should just come on with the key, but then it should turn off. Now, if the airbag was set to the off, that will stay steady on. But let's go ahead and just turn the key and see if that light comes on. So there we go. See that light is working. And then if you take a look here, you can see that the airbag is now out, the light. And that's because it's getting a good signal from that light bulb saying that that light bulb is working now. So now our airbag is not on at all. Just comes on when you start the car, and then it shuts right off. So now we know that's working. Let's go ahead and unplug this again. So now let's go ahead and stick this back in here. Try to remember how this was. So you got your hole for your bulb right there. So this just kind of drops down in like that. Like I said, we don't have our little orange cover, but that's totally fine as long as that airbag light comes on and then stays off on the dash. So go ahead and stick that like that. And then we'll go ahead and get this back on. So this kind of goes, oops, might have that backwards. Yeah, so it goes like that. Go ahead and get this down into position, and then you should be able to just snap it on there. So now we can go ahead and get this back into the dash cover there. So go ahead and get your holes lined up here. Grab your 5.5 millimeter screws. Go ahead and get those screwed in. So now we go ahead and get the dash bezel back in here. Let's go ahead and turn the key here. Drop that back down the first. Go ahead and kind of get that into place. We'll get everything plugged in here. So go ahead and get all those plugged back in. Get this back into position here. And just watch your headlight wires there. Get that kind of lined up where it needs to be. And then what we're going to do is just go ahead and push this back into place. It'll snap on there. Just like that. Go ahead and grab your radio here. And it sounds like somebody may have stuck some coins or something in here. But anyway, go ahead and plug this in. Same with your antenna. And then this should just snap right in. And of course, take off your little tool things there. But this should just now snap straight in. And then you can go ahead and put that back up. Pull your key out. So now let's go ahead and hook up our headlight switch here. So we'll get our wiring connectors plugged back in. And then your red locking tabs, make sure you lock those into place. And then again, we're going to turn the headlights on because that'll bring in this switch here. Go ahead and slide this into place. And then you can go ahead and shut them off. So now that's in there. Go ahead and pull out on this. Take off your knob here. You'll flip that opposite to where it's on the off position. Turn it on, push it in, and there we go. So now let's just try it out one more time, make sure everything's good. So I'll go ahead and turn the key. That light should come on, but then it should go out. And then we'll see and make sure our airbag light comes on, but then that also shuts off as well. So you can go ahead and turn the key here. You can see that light is on, but then it should go out. There it goes. And if you take a look at the dash here, no more airbag light on the bottom corner there flashing. So we should be good. But let's just try and make sure now when we put this to off that this light is going to stay on. So go ahead and turn the key here. You can see it comes on. It should shut off, but then it should come right back on. Just going through its tests. So there we go. So now you can see that it says airbag is off. So that light will stay steady whenever the passenger airbag is off. And as you can see, no airbag light on the dash anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back to on, and we should be good. All right, so that's going to wrap up the video. Again, this was a 2000 Ford F-250 Super Duty. Went ahead and changed out the burned out light bulb for the passenger airbag switch. Really simple job to do. Takes you maybe 30 minutes at the most to get this done. And Ford's fix for this is to just go ahead and replace that whole switch, which is probably going to cost you around 150 to 200 bucks just for that little switch. So save yourself some money, do it this way. I mean, the most this is going to cost you is maybe 15 bucks or so. So I'm hoping this video helps you out. And if it does, hit that subscribe button. I got a bunch of videos on this truck and some more coming up. So check those out when I get them uploaded, and I'll see you in the next video. Appreciate you watching.